30 for 30, presented by Buick Verano.
When I think about Greg, I think about someone who commits incredibly hard to whatever he does. Monday through Thursday afternoon, Greg, very hard-working student, intelligent. And then you hit about Thursday afternoon, roughly around dinner time until the depths of Saturday night at about 3 or 4 a.m. And you have a man committed to as getting as fucked up as humanly possible.
I'm Greg, senior, accounting major. My GPA right now is a 3.46. Senior year of high school was when I started drinking. On a given night, I probably have between like 12 and 15 drinks. One night last semester, I had about 32 beers in a night or a day. Yeah, it was didn't plan on it; it just kind of happened. Yeah.
All we saw was a man doing things that we had no idea were humanly possible.
Every 2 or 3 days, he would do something to make you just kind of scratch your head and say, man, I don't know if I saw that right.
You wouldn't necessarily see the things you heard about them, but there was kind of like this legendary, kind of like Paul Bunyan description around him.
The things he did were so incredible and so unbelievable that people want to talk about them. People want to keep that stuff alive.
Freshman year, Greg had this bucket list on his phone, and it had the most ridiculous stuff with check marks next to it. So we took a screenshot of it and sent it to each other so we would have it saved forever, basically.
Hit a power shot when the beat drops, pee in the slop sink. Was one hookup with a lesbian? It might have been. The D3 athlete, good choice. Didn't you always tweet, or you tweet everything, or?
I don't know.
Thought was good. I actually thought you might have, like, you were gonna die at one point. The thought of Montezuma was so dangerous. Oh my god, you were like, just like slightly larger, and like everything was swollen. Oh my god, yeah, when you used to go to the IB, and you used to go early and hide in the bathroom, and then just wait for people to come. I wonder what he did in there. He must have jerked off in there once.
I guess speechless would be the way to describe us here. I can't believe this.
Dry heaving sounded like what I would imagine was like a dying pterodactyl giving birth. Like,
And then
He's gonna get it.
Yeah, take a picture. I'll get it.
I just want to hear the noise one more.
Wait, roommates.
We all get this?
Just the roommates. This is the most. Oh, it's Zach.
I hate you guys.
No, not a good time. Not a good time.
This is the most overdramatic throw-ups I've ever seen in my entire life.
Talbot. Zach. Hold on. I'm closing there for 1 second.
what did he do sophomore year?
I don't think he did anything really crazy sophomore year. That was the year he tried to tone it down, and then he didn't.
Sophomore year for Halloween, we went as the Average Joe's dodgeball team, and Greg was in charge of being Steve the Pirate, which he absolutely killed. Yeah, he looked like a dyke, a lesbian dyke, and every time I see a picture of it to this day, I can't not laugh at it. Actually, the next day, a gay guy in Lynch told us that Greg was out at the Statesman saying "arg" for him, so I don't know where that led to.
I'll share one personal story. I don't know how many people really know this one. I think it was sophomore year. I stuck by Greg for the night, which turned out to be quite the experience. So the night progresses. More and more people are leaving the house, and Greg is busy on his phone. So I'm like, Greg, like, what are you doing, man? Like, what are you trying to do right now? He's like, yo, I'm texting this girl. She's trying to fuck right now. And I'm just like, okay, Greg, you can leave if you want. And then he took a picture of me and just sent it to her. I don't know if he instigates it or she instigates it, but the idea of a threesome pops up. Long story short, I didn't do it. I fucking chickened out. But this girl wanted to get double teamed.
There was this energy and this aura emanating from him that no one else could match.
I'm gonna tackle you, Greg. If you weren't near your fan, I was definitely
Shut the left up! Let me go, let me go. Oh! What's gonna happen? It's like a wall.
Junior year Greg was, in my opinion, the best version of Greg that Geneseo has ever seen.
Summer into junior year, I brought Greg along with me to the Belmont Stakes. He was there for the Triple Crown win. I doubt if he remembers it. He finished an entire Poland Spring bottle of vodka in like a 35-minute train ride. Was humping girls left and right in the 2-hour line it took to get in. It was so bad, me and my friends made him go sit in a porta potty till he could get himself under control. Turned out it took him about like 2.5 hours of sitting in the porta potty, and then he found a hole in the fence and made his way in. What else with Greg? So the first memory I really have of Greg junior year was, I think it was like the first weekend when everyone was back on campus. It's like 1:30 in the morning, 2 o'clock. A bunch of us are sitting in the living room, and we just hear the front door open, we hear footsteps, and then the bathroom door slams. No idea who it is. We knock on the door, maybe thinking it's Erin. It's not Erin, it was a girl's voice though. Opens the door, it's just some random girl. Makes her way up to Greg's room. Just like a little rat, scurries right up. I also had the pleasure of living across the hall from Greg, junior year, where every time a girl would leave his room, I had the pleasure of watching them leave, and then Greg kind of, in his intoxicated manner, just leaning in, putting his arm on the doorway, and just doing his little which meant he had a good time.
Stop with the whistles, oh my god. Greg, stop! Greg, stop!
I was coming home from Wheatland. I get a text from Dave that Greg was in Kelly's and he was a danger to everybody around him, obviously, as usual. And when I got there, he had 4 Tom Collins in his hands, holding them like this, right? Spilling them all over the place, like visibly onto people's shirts. And he was a total predator. Amazing. I mean, that's great for you. You gotta love him. By the time we got outside of Kelly's, and after he had probably flirted with every single girl in that entire bar, like in every single space of that entire bar, we went over to Mia's, and this is where the story sort of gets interesting. But we were standing in line, and Greg is pissed drunk. You know, he's swaying back and forth. He's having the time of his life, as he always does. And we were standing behind an equally pissed drunk, like veteran, who like looks at Greg and just looks looks Greg up and down. And I'm looking at the veteran, look at Greg. I'm looking at Greg just like stare into open space. And then the veteran just goes, what are you, like, you know, like totally swaying back and forth. Like, what are you contributing to society, man? Like, fuck your generation. And Greg was just like totally in awe. You know, he had nothing, he didn't know what to do. And we ended up having like exchanging words with this guy, and Greg was like, all we want is pizza, and points to pizza, and points it in this guy's face. And this guy was about to pounce on Greg, was about to absolutely eradicate him. And by the time he was about to do so, his friends jumped in, and they ended up buying us pizza.
I pulled down his pants in the girls' soccer apartment and shoved him over. And then I took his pants off of him and threw them away from him and left him there to just be embarrassed in front of everyone. That's one of the few times I've actually said sorry to Greg.
As many tries as you want.
15 beers later, Greg says something wrong, Remy throws a dart in his foot. Kid's spewing blood. Doesn't even react. Wipes it off and keeps playing. Unbelievable.
11! 11! My sister could do that.
11!
Grace Bird, your girlfriend could do a keg stand for 11 seconds.
No!
I was so clearly gonna Money's just
Well, he had natural power. He didn't work out in a weight room and take supplements and all that kind of stuff. He was naturally built that way.
Me and some of my friends were walking down Court Street at like 1:30 in the morning, and we saw Greg maybe 1 in the morning walking back, just beer all over him, couldn't form a sentence in English. Reeks of hot dogs, absolutely reeks of hot dogs. He was chewing one in his mouth, but we find him. Takes him a couple seconds to realize who we are. He gets all excited, and we tell him that he smells like hot dogs as he's eating one, and his response is, "Man, I wish I had a hot dog." I think that's what I'm gonna miss most about him. Just his pure innocence.
Even though I constantly remind Greg how much I hate him and how fat he is and how stupid he is, deep down, I do love him. He gives free entertainment all the time. I enjoy every time we hang out together, and I do love him.
Seeing glimpses of him throughout like 3-4 years of college, just like horrific glimpses of him in Kelly's basement, like swaying back and forth, like it's really cinematic. And I don't know, he's a great guy. He's got a heart of gold, and there's a multitude of stories that we could bring up and spin on our finger for days, but ultimately, like, Greg is sort of the glue that maintains the social fabric of Geneseo, and well, I'll never forget him for it.
What I'm gonna miss most about Greg is the constant reminders of how to live life to the fullest, and to always make room for time to relax and get as fucked up as possible.
Matt, sit down.
Look who's smoking in the house, people.
Oh, yeah, it's me.
Yeah.